As probably most of you, if not all of you, have heard, Charlie Kirk yesterday was assassinated. And there's two questions that I think I've seen asked quite a bit, but I've not seen answered. And so I hope to just address those two questions. First of all, how is this different than any other death? And second, what are we supposed to do about it? First, how is it different than any other death? Well, I think this is different and similar to other deaths. Every death that happens, whether that's due to a car accident, a school shooting, gang violence, cancer, old age, every death leaves a hole. Every death leaves family members and friends behind. There's no death that we are fully and emotionally prepared for, but I think this is different because it wasn't an accidental death, it wasn't an unfortunate death, but it was a deliberate death to silence a message, to silence a perspective, to silence an opinion. And certainly I know there was controversy around that opinion, but this was different because it was a targeted, specific death to silence one point of view, one perspective. And so I think in that sense, it is different. It's not the same as other deaths that we experience as human beings. This is 9/11. We think about deaths, and there was a targeting of the American people on that day, but it's even this is different. This is a fundamental different attack on an individual for a certain perspective. Things I appreciate about Charlie Kirk is I appreciated his just vocal, uh, clear Christian stance. Now, does this mean he was a perfect person? No, because no Christian is. But he was clear in his dependence on Jesus and his love for Jesus, and I really appreciate that. I also think he was really good about being willing to dialogue with anyone who was genuinely willing to dialogue. And not everyone is genuinely willing to dialogue, but from what I saw, and I didn't see everything that he put out, but I appreciated the fact that he was willing to have conversations, that he put himself in a spot to have conversations. And so I appreciate that. Which leads us to, what are we supposed to do about this? How are we supposed to think about this? What's next for us? What do we do? Well, I think the first thing we can do is, if there's a deep personal connection, we can take that time to mourn. That's appropriate. That's healthy. We can certainly pray. And this isn't something we just say when we don't know what else to do, but it is the most important and the most powerful thing. We're bringing our human concerns before the throne of God Himself so that He can answer. We can pray for His wife and for His kids. Regardless of what you think of the politics, there's a wife without a husband and kids without a father right now. And so certainly we can go to God for that. We can go to God for our country. This is concerning for all of us. It should be concerning for all of us. Is that your opinion, you could be killed for that opinion in the United States. We're used to hearing that other places, but not in the United States. And so certainly we can pray. It's also a reminder that life is short. It's unpredictable. We don't know how much time we have. None of us do. And so the conversations that we need to have, we should have them. The family members that we need to reconcile with, we should do that. We should tell the people around us that we love them, we care about them, because we're never promised tomorrow. All we have is today, and so we should live with that in mind. And then I think from Charlie's example, I think we should spend more time having uncomfortable conversations. Actual conversations, like listening, hearing, and talking with people that we don't see eye to eye on. Sometimes we may walk away surprised. Surprised that someone from a different perspective is actually human. And maybe they care too. And maybe they also want things in common. Even if the way of getting it, you might disagree on. And so I think it's important for us as a country, but us as individuals, to go back to having these conversations. Certainly I'm praying for Charlie's family during this time. But I'm praying that also we as a country can learn, we can grow. And ultimately, I think we can pray that Jesus returns quickly. Because we're going to have issues like this, hopefully not to this degree, but until Jesus comes back and makes everything perfect once and for all. We're going to have a series of these. I certainly hope that they're far and few between. But it makes our hearts yearn for a day where things are perfect. And that's going to happen when Jesus comes back.